Introduction to the Boy. In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills and sprawling fields, there lived a small boy named Sam. At just 8 years old, Sam was known for his bright smile, boundless curiosity, and an unusual habit that set him apart from other children his age. While most kids spent their afternoons playing soccer or riding bikes, Sam had developed a peculiar routine that would soon capture the hearts of everyone in the community. Every Saturday morning, as the sun began to rise and cast its golden hue over the sleepy town, Sam would grab his little backpack, fill it with colorful drawings and freshly picked wildflowers, and set off on a journey to the local cemetery. The townsfolk initially found this odd. After all, cemeteries were places of sorrow and remembrance, not playgrounds for children. However, as they observed Sam's consistent visits, their curiosity turned into admiration. The cemetery, a place of peace. The cemetery itself was a serene place. Ancient oak trees stood tall like guardians over the resting souls beneath them. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and freshly cut grass. Gravestones of various shapes and sizes dotted the landscape, each telling a story of lives once lived. For many in the town, it was a place of reflection and mourning. But for Sam, it became something entirely different. A sanctuary where he felt a deep connection to those who had passed away. Sam's first visit to the cemetery had been accidental. He had wandered there while chasing a butterfly one sunny afternoon. As he explored the grounds, he stumbled upon an old gravestone covered in moss. It belonged to a woman named Eleanor Thompson, who had passed away many years ago. Intrigued by her name and the dates etched into the stone, Sam felt an inexplicable pull towards her memory. A unique connection. From that day forward, Sam began visiting Eleanor's grave regularly. He learned about her from his grandmother, how she had been a beloved teacher in the town, and how she had touched many lives with her kindness and wisdom. Inspired by her story, Sam decided to honor her memory in his own special way. Each week, he would bring something new to Eleanor's grave. Colorful drawings he created at home, depicting scenes from nature or imaginary worlds. Wildflowers he picked from nearby fields, or even little notes expressing his thoughts about life and dreams. He believed that these offerings would keep Eleanor company and show her that she was not forgotten. As time went on, Sam's visits became more than just a personal ritual. They evolved into a heartfelt mission. He started to learn about other graves around Eleanor's, those of children who had passed away too soon, or veterans who had fought bravely for their country. Each gravestone told a different story, and Sam felt compelled to acknowledge each one. The impact on the community word began to spread throughout the town about this small boy who visited the cemetery every week with gifts for those who had passed away. At first, some residents were skeptical. They wondered why a child would choose such a somber place instead of enjoying carefree childhood adventures. But as they witnessed Sam's dedication and sincerity, their hearts began to soften. One day, Mrs. Jenkins, an elderly woman who often visited her husband's grave nearby, noticed Sam placing flowers at Eleanor's tombstone. She approached him with curiosity and asked what he was doing there so often. "I'm just making sure she knows she is still loved," Sam replied innocently. His words struck a chord with Mrs. Jenkins, who felt tears welling up in her eyes. She realized that this little boy was doing something profound. He was reminding everyone that love transcends even death, spreading kindness. Inspired by Sam's actions, Mrs. Jenkins decided to join him on his next visit. She brought along some flowers from her garden and shared stories about her late husband with Sam as they decorated his grave together. That day marked the beginning of something beautiful. More townspeople began to join them in their weekly visits. As weeks turned into months, Saturdays at the cemetery transformed into community gatherings, filled with laughter and stories shared among strangers united by their common purpose, to honor those who had left this world, but whose memories continued to live on in their hearts. Sam became known as the little caretaker of the cemetery. His simple acts of kindness inspired others to reflect on their own relationships with loved ones who had passed away. People began bringing their own flowers and mementos to share with those they missed dearly. A growing legacy. The cemetery became not just a final resting place, but also a vibrant space for remembrance and connection, a testament to love that endures beyond life itself. Children who once played soccer in nearby fields now joined Sam in his mission. They brought drawings of their own or shared stories about family members they wished to remember. As winter approached and leaves began to fall from trees like whispers of change in the air, Sam continued his visits undeterred by the chill. He bundled up warmly each Saturday morning and marched proudly through the gates of the cemetery with his backpack full of treasures. Little did he know that his simple acts of love were melting hearts far beyond what he could see. His spirit resonated deeply within each person who crossed paths with him at that sacred place. The boy's actions in the cemetery. As winter settled over the town, blanketing it in a layer of soft snow, Sam's visits to the cemetery took on a new charm. The gravestones, often overlooked in their somberness, transformed into serene sculptures adorned with glistening frost. Each Saturday morning, Sam would bundle up in his warmest coat, don his knitted hat, and set out with his backpack filled with colorful drawings and small tokens of affection. His routine remained steadfast. Upon reaching Eleanor Thompson's grave, he would kneel down and carefully place the flowers he had picked or crafted from paper. He had started making paper flowers at school, using vibrant colors to create something beautiful that would last longer than real blooms in the winter chill. He would then sit quietly for a moment, speaking softly to Eleanor, as if she were right there beside him. Conversations with the past. "Today I learned about space," he would say. "Did you know that astronauts can float? I want to be one when I grow up. I'll tell you all about it when I get there." These conversations became a cherished ritual for Sam. He imagined Eleanor listening intently, her spirit encouraging him to dream big and explore the world. But Sam's kindness didn't stop at Eleanor's grave. Inspired by her legacy and the stories he had heard from Mrs. Jenkins and others, he began to visit other graves as well. Each week he would choose a different grave to honor. Sometimes it was a child who had passed away too soon. Other times it was a veteran who had served his country with valor. He learned about a little girl named Lily who had loved butterflies and had passed away from an illness at just 6 years old. Sam decided that Lily needed some joy brought to her resting place. He crafted a colorful butterfly mobile from paper and hung it on her gravestone, hoping that it would sway gently in the winter breeze like real butterflies dancing in the air. Uniting hearts through grief. Word of Sam's heartfelt gestures spread throughout the town like wildfire. People began to share their own stories of loss and love. They found solace in Sam's actions, which served as a reminder that grief could be transformed into something beautiful, a celebration of life rather than just sorrow. One Saturday morning, as Sam was placing flowers at Lily's grave, he noticed a group of children approaching him hesitantly. They were shy but curious about what this little boy was doing among the gravestones. With their heads bowed and hands tucked into their pockets, they watched him for a moment before one brave girl stepped forward. "What are you doing?" she asked softly. "I'm bringing flowers for Lily," Sam replied with a smile. "She loved butterflies." The children exchanged glances before stepping closer. "Can we help?" another boy asked. Sam's face lit up with excitement. "Of course. We can make more butterflies together." A new tradition begins. That day marked the beginning of a new tradition among the children of the town. Every Saturday morning became an opportunity for them to gather at the cemetery, not just to play, but to remember those who had touched their lives in some way. They brought art supplies, paper and crayons to create drawings and crafts for each grave they visited. As they worked together under Sam's guidance, laughter filled the air amidst the solemnity of the surroundings. They shared stories about their loved ones who had passed away. Some spoke of grandparents who had taught them how to bake cookies, or parents who had taken them on adventures. Others shared tales of friends who had been taken too soon, but whose memories still brought smiles to their faces. The power of community. The cemetery transformed into a vibrant tapestry of color and love as more children joined Sam each week. Families began visiting as well. Parents brought their children along to participate in this unique way of honoring those they had lost. It became a community event where people could connect over shared experiences of grief while celebrating life through art and remembrance. Mrs. Jenkins was often there too, helping organize supplies and sharing her wisdom with both children and parents alike. She recounted stories of her late husband's love for gardening and how he would have adored seeing all these flowers adorning the graves as winter melted into spring. New life emerged not only in nature, but also within the hearts of everyone involved. The cemetery blossomed with handmade decorations. Colorful drawings taped onto gravestones fluttered gently in the breeze, while vibrant paper flowers adorned many resting places. A heartwarming encounter. One sunny Saturday morning, as Sam and his friends were busy creating decorations for Memorial Day, a holiday dedicated to honoring those who had served in the military, they noticed an elderly man standing alone near one of the gravestones. His face was lined with deep wrinkles that told stories of hardship and resilience. His eyes glistened with unshed tears. Curiosity piqued, Sam approached him cautiously. "Hello? Are you okay?" he asked sincerely. The man looked down at Sam with surprise before breaking into a gentle smile that illuminated his weathered face. "I'm just remembering my brother," he said softly. "He fought bravely in World War II. Sam nodded thoughtfully. "We're making decorations for all our heroes today. Would you like to help us?" The man's expression shifted from sadness to warmth as he knelt beside Sam and his friends. Together, they created beautiful cards adorned with stars and stripes, a tribute not only to this man's brother but also to all those who had served their country selflessly. Healing through art. As they worked side by side, stories flowed freely between them, stories filled with laughter, bravery, love, and loss. The elderly man shared tales of his brother's adventures during wartime, while Sam recounted how he wanted to be an astronaut someday. In that moment, a connection formed across generations. Healing took place not just for individuals, but for an entire community, united by shared experiences of love and remembrance. As spring blossomed into summer, Sam continued his weekly visits alongside his newfound friends from school and various families who joined them regularly at the cemetery. The once quiet grounds now buzzed with life. Laughter echoed among gravestones as memories were cherished rather than mourned alone. A lasting legacy. Sam's simple acts of kindness had sparked something profound within this small town, a movement rooted in love that transcended grief itself, a legacy that reminded everyone how important it is to keep memories alive through acts of compassion towards others. Each visit became more than just an outing. It turned into a celebration, a way for people young and old alike to connect over shared experiences while honoring those they loved dearly but could no longer see. As summer days stretched long into warm evenings, filled with fireflies dancing under starry skies above, the cemetery became not only a place where lives were remembered, but also where new friendships blossomed amidst shared sorrow transformed into joy, a testament to resilience found within community bonds, forged through love amidst loss. Community reactions. As the summer days grew warmer and the flowers bloomed in vibrant colors, the cemetery became a hub of activity. What had once been a quiet place of mourning was now alive with laughter, creativity, and connection. Sam's simple acts of kindness had transformed not only his perspective, but also that of the entire community. Initially, some townspeople had been skeptical about Sam's frequent visits to the cemetery. They wondered why a child would choose such a somber place over parks or playgrounds. However, as they witnessed the joy he brought to those who had passed away and the way he inspired others to join him, their skepticism turned into admiration. A town united in grief and joy. Local newspapers began to take notice of this heartwarming phenomenon. Articles were written about the little caretaker who had united a town through love and remembrance. Photos of Sam surrounded by children, flowers, and handmade decorations filled the pages, capturing the essence of what was happening in that sacred space. People from neighboring towns even began to visit, curious about this unique gathering that seemed to breathe new life into an age-old tradition of honoring the deceased. They watched as families came together to share stories, laughter, and tears, each visit becoming a tribute not only to those who had passed, but also to the bonds formed among the living. One afternoon, as Sam was painting rocks with colorful designs for Lily's grave, he noticed a group of adults standing at a distance. They were whispering among themselves, their expressions a mix of intrigue and warmth. One woman stepped forward hesitantly, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Excuse me," she said softly. "I heard about what you're doing here. It's beautiful." Sam looked up from his work, his face lighting up with a smile. "Thank you. We're making things for our friends who can't be here anymore." The woman nodded, her voice trembling slightly. "My sister passed away last year. I never knew how to honor her memory properly. This is wonderful." A ripple effect. As Sam continued to engage with visitors, both young and old, more stories began to unfold. Each person brought their own experiences of loss and love, creating an atmosphere filled with empathy and understanding. The cemetery became a safe haven where people could express their grief openly, without fear of judgment. One day, an elderly war veteran named Mr. Thompson visited the cemetery after hearing about Sam's efforts. He approached Sam while he was busy crafting decorations for Memorial Day. "Hello there," Mr. Thompson said with a warm smile. "I've come to pay my respects to my fallen comrades." Sam looked up with wide eyes filled with curiosity. "Do you want to help us? We're making cards for them." Mr. Thompson hesitated for a moment before nodding slowly. "I'd be honored." As they worked side by side, Mr. Thompson shared stories from his time in service, the camaraderie among soldiers and the sacrifices made for freedom. Sam listened intently, his heart swelling with admiration for this man who had fought bravely for his country. Healing through shared stories. The more Mr. Thompson spoke about his experiences, the laughter shared during difficult times, or the friendships forged in battle, the more he felt a sense of healing wash over him. It was as if sharing these memories allowed him to keep his fallen friends alive in spirit. Inspired by Mr. Thompson's stories, Sam decided they should create a special section in the cemetery dedicated solely to veterans, a place where their sacrifices could be honored collectively through art and remembrance. With the help of Mrs. Jenkins and other community members, they organized an event called Honoring Our Heroes. It would take place on Veterans Day, a day when people could come together to celebrate those who had served their country, while also creating lasting tributes through art. The event takes shape. As word spread about the upcoming event, excitement buzzed through the town like electricity in the air. Families began preparing decorations, red, white, and blue banners adorned with stars, handmade cards expressing gratitude, and even small flags placed lovingly at each veteran's grave. On Veterans Day morning, families arrived at the cemetery carrying boxes filled with supplies, paints, brushes, markers, all ready to create something meaningful together. The atmosphere was filled with anticipation as children ran around giggling, while adults exchanged stories about their loved ones who had served. Sam stood at Eleanor's grave that morning, feeling proud yet humble. He knew this event was not just about honoring veterans, but also about bringing people together, a celebration of life amidst loss. A heartfelt tribute. As people gathered around the designated area for veterans' grave sites later that day, decorations hung from trees like colorful streamers swaying gently in the breeze, Sam took center stage alongside Mr. Thompson and Mrs. Jenkins. "Thank you all for being here today," he said enthusiastically, his voice ringing out across the crowd filled with both familiar faces and newcomers alike. "We're going to make sure our heroes know they are loved." With that declaration echoing through hearts gathered there, the group set off creating beautiful tributes, each stroke of paint representing gratitude, while laughter echoed among gravestones once shrouded in silence. Children painted rocks in vibrant colors, while adults crafted heartfelt messages on cards, each one expressing appreciation for sacrifices made by brave souls who fought valiantly for freedom, a reminder that love transcends even death itself. An unexpected surprise. As twilight descended upon the cemetery, casting golden hues across gravestones adorned with flowers, the group gathered around one particular grave marked by an American flag fluttering proudly against fading sunlight. It belonged to Lieutenant James Parker, a local hero known for his bravery during combat overseas. Just then, a surprise awaited them. A group of veterans arrived unexpectedly, dressed in uniforms adorned with medals gleaming brightly under evening light. They were there not only to pay respects, but also express gratitude towards those honoring their fallen comrades through artful tributes created that day. With heartfelt speeches filled with emotion, the veterans shared stories about Lieutenant Parker's courage, the laughter shared among comrades during difficult times, and how important it was for families left behind never forget those who served selflessly. A community transformed. The event concluded with everyone standing together around Lieutenant Parker's grave, hands clasped tightly as they recited an oath honoring all veterans present, while promising never forget sacrifices made by brave souls who fought valiantly throughout history. Tears flowed freely amidst smiles shared among strangers, turned friends united by purpose. A sense of belonging blossomed within hearts once burdened by grief, transformed into joy, as memories were cherished rather than mourned alone. In that moment, a profound shift occurred within this small town. A realization dawned upon everyone present. Grief could be transformed into something beautiful when shared collectively through acts of kindness towards others, reminding them love endures beyond life itself. A legacy worth celebrating together. The lasting impact, as weeks turned into months following Veterans Day. The cemetery continued thriving as more families visited regularly, bringing flowers or small tokens honoring loved ones lost. Children played joyfully amongst gravestones adorned beautifully crafted decorations, serving as reminders that memories lived on forever, within hearts touched by love shared openly, without fear or shame. Sam remained at its heart, a beacon shining brightly, illuminating paths forged through compassion, inspiring others, embrace vulnerability while finding strength amidst sorrow, transforming pain into purpose, creating lasting connections built upon shared experiences, reminding everyone how important it is. Keep memories alive through acts kindness towards others, even when faced adversity head on. Through these experiences, the boy who once wandered alone now stood surrounded by friends, family united under one common goal. Honoring lives lived fully, celebrating legacies left behind, ensuring no one ever felt forgotten again. Personal stories of those affected. As the seasons changed and the leaves turned golden and crimson, the cemetery continued to thrive as a place of remembrance and connection. Sam's weekly visits had not only transformed the way the community engaged with their memories, but also sparked a series of heartfelt stories that resonated deeply with everyone involved. One sunny Saturday morning, as Sam and his friends gathered at the cemetery to prepare for their next decoration project, they were approached by a woman named Clara. With her hair streaked with silver and a gentle smile that radiated warmth, Clara had been visiting her husband's grave for years. Today, however, she seemed particularly moved. "Hello, children," she said softly, her voice tinged with emotion. I just wanted to thank you all for what you're doing here. It's truly beautiful." Sam looked up, curious. "What do you mean?" Clara knelt down beside him, her eyes sparkling with tears. "My husband, George, passed away last year. I used to come here feeling so lonely and heartbroken, but since I've seen you all working together, it's brought me such comfort." Finding solace in community, Clara shared how she had struggled to cope with her loss after George's passing. The cemetery had once felt like a heavy weight on her heart, a place filled with sorrow and solitude. But witnessing the children's joy and creativity had rekindled her own sense of connection to George. "I remember how much he loved flowers," she continued, wiping away a tear. "He used to spend hours tending to our garden. It was his pride and joy." Inspired by Sam's efforts, Clara decided to bring flowers from her own garden each week, sunflowers and daisies that reminded her of George's love for life. As she placed them at his grave, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, a way to honor his memory while embracing the beauty around her. "Thank you for reminding me that love doesn't end with death," Clara said, her voice steadying. "You've helped me find joy in remembering him." The impact on families. As word spread about Clara's story, others began sharing their own experiences at the cemetery. One afternoon, a father named David approached Sam while he was painting rocks for Lily's grave. "Hey there," David said with a warm smile. "I've been watching you all work here. It's amazing what you're doing." Sam beamed back at him. "Thanks. We're making things for everyone who can't be here anymore." David nodded thoughtfully before sharing his own story. "My daughter, Emma, passed away 2 years ago from leukemia. I used to come here alone, feeling lost in my grief." He took a deep breath, gathering his emotions before continuing. "But seeing you kids come together has inspired me to bring Emma's favorite toys and books here, to keep her memory alive in a way that feels joyful rather than sad. Creating lasting memories." David began bringing small toys, stuffed animals, and books each Saturday morning as he joined Sam and the other children in their creative endeavors. They would place these items around Emma's grave along with colorful drawings made by Sam and his friends. The transformation was profound. The once somber atmosphere surrounding Emma's grave became filled with laughter and love as children played nearby while sharing stories about their own lives. "I never thought I could smile again when I came here," David admitted one day as he watched the children play near Emma's grave. "But now I feel like she's part of this beautiful community we've created together." The healing power of art. As more families joined in this collective effort to honor their loved ones through art and remembrance, the cemetery evolved into an open canvas where emotions could be expressed freely, without fear or shame. One day, Mrs. Jenkins organized an art workshop at the cemetery, inviting local artists to lead sessions on painting stones or creating wind chimes from recycled materials, all aimed at encouraging families to express their feelings creatively. Children gathered around tables set up beneath the shade of ancient oak trees, while adults shared stories about their loved ones, laughter mingling with tears as they painted stones adorned with messages like, "Forever loved," or "In our hearts, always." The sound of laughter echoed throughout the grounds, a testament to resilience found within vulnerability, a reminder that grief could be transformed into something beautiful when shared collectively through acts of kindness towards others. A special tribute day. As autumn approached, the community decided to hold a special event called Remembrance Day, a day dedicated solely to honoring those who had passed away while celebrating life itself through artful tributes created by families throughout the year. Sam took it upon himself to organize this event alongside Mrs. Jenkins, working tirelessly alongside volunteers from around town who wanted nothing more than ensure everyone felt included in this heartfelt celebration. On Remembrance Day morning, the sun shone brightly overhead, illuminating gravestones adorned, beautifully crafted decorations made lovingly by families over months past. Colorful banners hung between trees bearing names of loved ones lost. each one telling its own unique story, filled with love, laughter shared among friends, family alike, united under one common goal: honoring lives lived fully. A day filled with love. As attendees arrived throughout the day, they were greeted by tables filled with art supplies ready for use. Children painted rocks, while adults crafted wreaths made from leaves gathered nearby, all serving as reminders that memories lived on forever, within hearts touched by love, shared openly without fear or shame. Throughout Remembrance Day, people wandered through the cemetery sharing stories about their loved ones. Laughter mingled with tears as they recounted funny anecdotes or cherished memories, transforming what was once seen as a place solely for mourning into something vibrant, alive, filled with hope. Healing found within community bonds, forged through love amidst loss. At one point during the festivities, Sam stood atop a small platform addressing everyone gathered around him. His voice rang out clear, strong, filled with passion, excitement. "Thank you all for being here today," he exclaimed enthusiastically, looking out at familiar faces, turned friends united under one common goal: honoring lives lived fully, celebrating legacies left behind, ensuring no one ever felt forgotten again. A heartwarming moment. As evening fell, the sun dipped below horizon, casting golden hues across gravestones adorned beautifully crafted decorations, serving as reminders that memories lived on forever, within hearts touched by love shared openly without fear or shame. A moment arrived that would forever remain etched into memory. Suddenly, a group of doves flew overhead, circling above everyone gathered there, each one representing a soul lost but never forgotten. Gasps arose among attendees as they watched these graceful creatures soar high into sky, a symbol hope reminding them all that love endures beyond life itself. With hearts full gratitude, joy, the community came together hand in hand, forming circles around gravestones adorned lovingly crafted decorations created throughout year. They recited poems, shared prayers, honoring those who had passed while promising: never forget sacrifices made by brave souls who fought valiantly throughout history. The legacy continues. As Remembrance Day came to an end, the cemetery remained vibrant, alive, filled laughter echoing through grounds long after attendees departed. It had transformed into something more than just a resting place. It became sanctuary where memories could be cherished, celebrated openly without fear or shame, a legacy worth preserving together. Sam looked around at all those gathered, feeling proud yet humble, knowing this journey began simply because he wanted honor those lost while reminding others how important it is keep memories alive through acts kindness towards others, even when faced adversity head-on. Through these experiences, the boy who once wandered alone now stood surrounded by friends, family united under one common goal: honoring lives lived fully, celebrating legacies left behind, ensuring no one ever felt forgotten again. Reflections on Remembrance Day. As the sun set on Remembrance Day, casting a warm glow over the cemetery, Sam stood quietly among the gravestones, taking in the beauty of the moment. The laughter of children echoed in the air, mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves in the evening breeze. It was a day filled with love, connection, and shared memories, a day that had transformed grief into joy. Sam felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He had started this journey with simple acts of kindness, motivated by a desire to honor those who had passed away. Little did he know that his actions would ripple through the community, inspiring others to embrace their own stories of loss and love. As families began to pack up their decorations and prepare to leave, Sam noticed Clara sitting quietly at her husband George's grave. She was placing a final bouquet of flowers beside his stone, her eyes glistening with tears. Sam approached her gently. "Are you okay, Mrs. Clara?" he asked, his voice soft and caring. Clara looked up and smiled through her tears. "I'm more than okay, Sam. Today was beautiful. Thank you for bringing us all together." The power of connection. Sam sat down beside her, feeling a warmth in his heart. "I just wanted everyone to remember their loved ones," he said earnestly. "It makes me happy to see people smile when they talk about them." "You've done so much more than that," Clara replied, her voice steadying. "You've shown us that it's okay to grieve together and celebrate life together. You've turned this cemetery into a place of love." As they sat in silence for a moment, watching the last rays of sunlight fade behind the horizon, Sam reflected on how far they had come since his first visit to Eleanor's grave. He thought about all the friendships he had formed, the stories he had heard, and the joy that had blossomed in what was once a place of sorrow. A lasting legacy. In the weeks following Remembrance Day, Sam continued his visits to the cemetery alongside his friends and families who had become regulars. The vibrant atmosphere remained alive as more decorations adorned gravestones, each one telling a unique story filled with love and remembrance. One Saturday morning, as Sam arrived at the cemetery with his backpack full of supplies, he noticed something new, a small sign at the entrance that read, "Welcome to Memory Lane, a place for love and remembrance." His heart swelled with pride as he realized how much this place had transformed. Mrs. Jenkins approached him with a smile. "We decided it was time to give this special place its own name," she explained. "Thanks to you, Sam. Memory Lane will always be a reminder of love that endures beyond life." Sam beamed at her words. He felt a sense of responsibility now, not just for Eleanor or Lily or any one individual, but for everyone who had found solace here. The community gathers. As winter approached once again, preparations began for another event, this time focused on celebrating the holiday season while honoring those who had passed away. The community decided to hold a Festival of Lights at Memory Lane, a night filled with candles and lanterns illuminating gravestones adorned with decorations made throughout the year. Families gathered together to create beautiful lanterns from recycled materials, each one representing a loved one lost but never forgotten. Children painted cheerful designs, while adults shared stories about their loved ones, laughter mingling with tears as they recounted cherished memories. On the night of the festival, Memory Lane transformed into a magical wonderland, a pathway lined with flickering lights guiding visitors through rows of gravestones illuminated by candles glowing softly against the night sky. A night of reflection. As darkness fell over Memory Lane, the community came together under twinkling stars. They lit candles at each grave while sharing heartfelt stories about those they missed dearly. Laughter echoed throughout grounds, mingling harmoniously, alongside whispers. Prayers, honoring lives lived fully, celebrating legacies left behind, ensuring no one ever felt forgotten again. Sam stood at Eleanor's grave surrounded by friends, family united under one common goal, honoring lives lived fully, celebrating legacies left behind, ensuring no one ever felt forgotten again. With hearts full gratitude joy, the community recited poems, shared prayers honoring those who had passed while promising never forget sacrifices made by brave souls who fought valiantly throughout history. A special moment. In that moment, a profound realization settled within Sam's heart. He understood that love transcends even death itself, a legacy worth preserving together. As families embraced one another amidst flickering candlelight, he felt an overwhelming sense of belonging, knowing this journey began simply because he wanted honor those lost, while reminding others how important it is. Keep memories alive through acts of kindness towards others, even when faced adversity head-on. As winter settled over Memory Lane, the spirit of love continued to thrive. Families returned regularly, bringing flowers or small tokens honoring loved ones lost. Children played joyfully amongst gravestones, adorned beautifully crafted decorations, serving as reminders that memories lived on forever, within hearts touched by love, shared openly without fear or shame. The future awaits. As spring approached once again, Sam found himself reflecting on everything that had happened since he first began visiting Eleanor's grave. He realized how much each person involved had grown stronger together through shared experiences, transforming pain into purpose, creating lasting connections built upon love amidst loss. With every visit, he felt empowered, knowing this was just beginning. There were countless stories yet untold, waiting to be discovered within hearts yearning share their journeys, grief healing found within community bonds forged through compassion, inspiring others embrace vulnerability, while finding strength amidst sorrow. One sunny Saturday morning, Sam stood atop Small Hill overlooking Memory Lane, feeling proud, yet humble, knowing this journey would continue long after he was gone. It wasn't just about him anymore. It was about everyone involved creating something beautiful together, a legacy worth preserving, ensuring no one ever felt forgotten again. A final reflection. As he turned back towards Memory Lane, his heart swelled with gratitude for all those who had joined him along this journey, each person contributing uniquely, weaving tapestry, rich history filled with love, laughter, shared among friends, family alike united under one common goal, honoring lives lived fully, celebrating legacies left behind, ensuring no one ever felt forgotten again. In that moment, Sam understood true power lies not only within individual acts, kindness, but also collective efforts. Bring people together, forging connections built upon shared experiences, reminding everyone how important it is. Keep memories alive through acts kindness towards others, even when faced adversity head-on. With renewed determination shining brightly within him, he marched forward, ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing together they could create something extraordinary, transforming grief into joy, celebrating life itself amidst memories cherished forevermore.